Hello, I'm Jeff Beale with the Marketology Group, and I just exposed my business on the BizLinks TV network. Learn more about how to leverage your authority in your industry coming up on my episode of That's My Biz on BizLink TV.
That's My Biz is sponsored by Visita Live Site, Constant Contact, and your professional girlfriend, Felicia Anchetta. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of That's My Biz. I'm Pamela Alexander, your host, and as always, we enjoy bringing to you the wonderful businesses, nonprofits, and associations that we meet when we're out there networking, and you know why. We want you to do business with them. We want you to learn all that they have to share with you. And now you can always watch us at www.bizlinks.tv. Also, don't forget your favorite platforms, whether it's Roku, Apple Podcasts, or Android. You can find us there. Also on social media, we're BizLinks TV. Now, our guest today is a guest we've had on before, so we're going to share even more information. Mr. Jeff Beale with the Marketology Group. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. Now, he is known as Mr. Marketology, so you know this episode could go on and on and on, so we're going to try to get you some specific answers in the time that we have. So, Jeff, I want to get started. Just give me a general snapshot of what's going on with marketing for businesses today.
Well, today's marketing is a little bit different than before because of all the social media and all the platforms that you have to really be in tune with your audience. You have to communicate and listen to them. You have to give value because there's so many options and it's so rapid nowadays.
Right.
So that's really how marketplaces change.
Yeah, you know, it feels like gone are the days of it's kind of like, can we go back to before social media? Because now we have to work so much more than before, it feels like, when it talks about just engagement with the audience and what all that really means. Let's hit on the social media side first so that we don't get too deep into that rabbit hole. Okay. But social media, I know the big news right now and the big talk is all about Facebook changing their algorithm once again. And what it means for small businesses. So share your take on that.
Okay, I'm going to give you the hard story first. My take on it is basically strong-arming businesses to advertise with them. Based on the algorithm change, it makes it more and more difficult to get organic reach in front of enough people in order to get your message out there.
Now tell everybody, for those that don't know, what organic reach is.
So organic reach is when you are looking on your feed and naturally or organically, what we call it, you see a post. It's not a sponsored post. There's no advertisement wrapped around it. It just is based on your search results or it just shows up in your feed.
Okay.
So that's organic. And typically people think that when they post something, everybody that's in their friend list see what they post. Right. That's not true. Actually, about 5% of your audience see what you post until you build that. And it's built on engagement. And that could be comments. Most of the strength is in comments. Okay. Likes, shares. Those are some of the engagements that they say, well, if you put it out and at the 5%, you get X amount of comments and Y amount of shares, the next time you post, we'll show it to 8% or 10%. And you build, but you can see how that can take a long time to get in front of your entire base.
Right, and then I'm sure at some point you go back down and have to work your way back up again.
You do, you do. And they have now made it even more difficult because you can't, by their guidelines, ask for shares, comments, and likes.
Right.
So now you can't ask your friends, like my stuff, comment on my stuff so I can get in front of more people. So what that does is it forces you to do the only thing to get in front of enough people to make sense, and that's advertise with them. And so it's very, I guess you would say, clever on their part business-wise. But for a business, it forces you into spending when you were alluded to think that you can actually get in front of people without spending.
Yeah, you spend all that time building the fans for your page and for your business page, and then now that means little to nothing unless you advertise. And then so from that, I've noticed, because so many people on social media just kind of do what they see others doing, that now people have taken Facebook groups, which basically they've turned them into their business page again because it's just a group instead. So now they're kind of using groups to do that.
Yes, and the groups give you one more level of can I say dictatorship? Because now the group owner can dictate
right.
what can be posted and not. And most of the group owners I've found will say, well, you can't promote your business or you can't do this and that. But then you look down the line and they're promoting theirs consistently.
Right.
You know. So unless you have your own group and you've built your numbers up, your members up, you don't have the advantage of taking advantage of the groups because a lot of group owners are going to now scrutinize what's posted.
Right.
And you have Facebook's law and the group owner's law.
Right.
It's a hard win.
Right. And what's interesting is that Facebook just allows the group owners to add people, though. You know, they don't give you that say, and you've got to go through. I always find out I'm in some group I didn't know about, and I have to go and pull myself from the group and all of that. So that's the world of Facebook. You know, we seem to think free, but sometimes you can't always afford free. So let's move on to the next free one. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening with Twitter these days.
Well, Twitter is running with a big backpack on their back trying to catch up. I mean, they really are. Their advertisement model, when it came out, was so expensive. And the thing that hurts Twitter is most people don't understand Twitter for what it is. It is a micro platform. It's rapid. Every tweet is only up for seconds. It's rapid. And most people think of it as Facebook, where your posts will be there for a while.
Right.
So they don't approach it that way. They don't approach it with I guess you would say, eavesdropping type of way where I'm rapidly putting out content. It's leading to push them somewhere else where they can get long content that's standing. They look at my tweet will be there, I'll put 1 or 2 tweets out a day and wait for tomorrow or whenever else I post. And so since it's so rapid, you get lost within a minute or two and you get buried. So, you know, the strategy for Twitter is a lot different. But understanding that is where you'll win. A lot of companies look at this strategy of, I'm just posting just to post, to check the box. It's a task that's done. And it'll be there. And if they come to my page and they'll see all of my tweets, most people don't go to individual Twitter profiles and read all of their tweets. They just read what's in their feed. So just a different approach.
Yeah. So in talking about different approach, and that's the thing that and what a lot of people don't realize is you do have to approach each one differently, which is why you don't necessarily want to be on all the social platforms if you're going to truly put the energy into it. Otherwise, you will do nothing else. So talking about another one with a different approach that people don't realize because they love to think that it's just Facebook for business is LinkedIn. So talk a little bit about LinkedIn because I know now they're catching up with video and some other elements. So talk a little bit about LinkedIn and strategies business should have there.
Yes. LinkedIn has always been a networking platform. The problem is businesses approach it as an advertisement platform. Now, they do have advertisement, and their advertisement is a lot more expensive than Facebook and probably even Twitter. But you are building relationships with not your customer, unless you're a B2B. If you're a B2B, that's a direct to your customer. But if you're a B2C, you are building relationships with influencers that can influence your customers to do business with you. And a lot of businesses approach it as I'm trying to sell you something. I mean, I know in my inbox, I get all kinds of offers of trying to sell me something. Until you build a relationship, it doesn't really go that far. But with LinkedIn, you can get the decision makers and the influencers, and you can build a relationship to now when you're ready to offer, you can ask them to leverage their networks to help promote what you're offering.
Okay. So. Now, one thing I find with LinkedIn is in talking about getting to decision makers. Now, LinkedIn is one of those platforms where people are a little bit more strategic about who they really connect with. Facebook, Twitter, it's kind of, free-for-all almost. But LinkedIn, we're more particular about in looking at why are we connecting in the first place. And so how do they get to someone that they don't necessarily know, but they're trying to get to that influencer or that decision maker?
Well, there's 2 ways. One is go through your connections and see who's connected with them and have them do an introduction. That's not always the case.
Right.
But the second is to do a little research, find out what's interesting to them, and then approach them in that manner.
Okay.
It can be business related, or it could be something more personal.
Okay.
You may have gone to the same school. You may like the same sports team. You may live in the same area, but you find some common ground. And then, just as you would do in, let's say, a business mixer, you would then introduce yourself with what you have in common.
Okay.
If you come with a pitch,
Right.
you probably will fail.
Right.
Right. But you come and you say, hey, I like basketball. You like basketball. It's March Madness season. What do you think about this? And they may come back and, okay, so what do you do? Because the first thing that they do is the first thing you should do. They look at your profile.
Right.
And they start to see where you worked and where you've been educated and what you do. And then they may respond. So if they do respond, they vetted you. And now they probably, accepted communication.
Okay.
So after some communication, it doesn't have to be years of communication, but after some communication, and they get to know you, you get to know them, that's when you start to pitch them on whatever your pitch may be.
Okay, great. Now, everyone, of course, we know there's more marketing out there than just social media, and I promise I'm going to try to make this succinct. So I do want to hit one of the last big ones, and then we'll take a break, and then we're going to come back and talk about a lot of other marketing that's not social media. So the last platform that I want you to just kind of touch on is Instagram, and how businesses can market on Instagram today.
Great. So Instagram, I thought you were going to say Snapchat. Everybody's Snapchat. So Instagram basically is visual. People don't understand how much visual impacts people. So if you are a company, you want to show visually appealing pictures that tell a story, not just and video now, because Instagram now has video. You want to be very visual with it. It doesn't have to be professional, depending on your business. If your business has a professional, polished look, it needs to be that. But if you don't have that, people gravitate toward personal stuff. If you're too polished, and they say, "Oh, well, you had that paid for," it's not authentic. So you have to find that balance. Also, the video versus image ratio. You want to have some video. Instagram only allows you a minute if you're not doing stories. And stories is a whole nother thing, whole nother story I was about to say. But with stories, you can actually tell a story, and that's what it's for. It's actually their rebuttal to Snapchat. So, it gives you that Snapchat ability, but you want to leverage your stories, your videos, and your images to tell a story about your company, whether it's your product or service or even your team. Even to show, like if your audience, let's say, are moms, then you might want to show family members of your team to show we are family oriented. So you're telling the story, and that's how you approach Instagram. Except for the hashtags. Everybody want to know about the hashtags.
There you go.
The hashtags. Hashtags are the way people search for what they're interested in. Instagram allows you to have 30. I recommend starting with 10 to 14 strong ones, and then you can do the rest. It's good to only have 2, 3, or 4 in your caption, and then put the rest in your comments. Because if you put all 30 in your comments, you look spammy. You look like you're desperate. So.
And then you get the people that then want to post the same thing in all the other platforms and forget that the other platforms have different ways of doing things. So not every platform is about the hashtags.
Yes.
I still see 30 on other platforms.
Yes. And they use Hootsuite and stuff like that and post one into all.
Right. Well, everyone, see, this is why you need to make sure you tap into an expert that has the information so that you're not out there doing what you're not supposed to be doing and just kind of copying what you see out there, and the people you're copying may not really know what they're doing, so then it just gets carried on. So reach out to business like Jeff so that you can learn how to do it properly and be more effective with your social media marketing. So Jeff, before we take a break, please tell everyone how they can get in touch with you.
Well, they can contact me at mrmarketology.com. That's MrMarketology, And Mr. Marketology on all social platforms. I mean, I'm on even Snapchat, but I don't chat. So
it don't last long enough, right? So,
yeah.
Everyone, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
How does your small business stay top of mind with customers? From deals that bring them in with an offer, to social media promotions that turn fans into customers, to events that engage and create buzz, to emails that keep loyal customers coming back. Our easy-to-use tools will keep you in front of your customers.
Visita makes it easier for your business to get paid online. With Visita Live Site, your clients can pay for any service, invoice, or scheduled appointment right from your website, social network profile, or email. You can accept any credit card or PayPal, and funds will be deposited directly to your bank account or PayPal account at no extra charge. Easily add payment options to your site that fit your brand and website design and are fully supported on mobile devices. No technical skills are required.
Finally, we have a fashion powerhouse and at a fraction of the cost. You recognize Swarovski on the runway. Now we're able to bring it to your doorway with Touchstone Crystal. Unique Swarovski innovations, cut and colors, superior plating, all lead and nickel free. Looking to add to your jewelry collection or purchase a gift? Need a ladies' night? Host a fun sparkle party. We have a rewarding host program, and on average a host earns $200 in free jewelry. Or maybe you're interested in our groundbreaking opportunity, which gives you all of the above: jewelry, fun, and a paycheck. We're always looking for new glambassadors to spread the sparkle. Contact us today at www.touchstonecrystal.com/FTA Crystal Glam.
Welcome back, everyone. And as always, we have to thank our sponsors for continuing to support That's My Biz and BizLinks TV. If you're interested in being a sponsor, please reach out to us at That's My Biz at BizLinks TV. And of course, if you're interested in being a guest or know of some great businesses that you would love to see on as guests, also reach out to us at That's My Biz at BizLinks.tv. Now, we're talking about marketing, something I love to talk about, technology, more and more. So I love having our guest on, Jeff Beale, who's been on before, and he is Mr. Marketology. And so, Jeff, now before we were talking about social media, and one thing that we mentioned is we talked about organic search. So share a little bit more about just where do you see things going as it relates to organic search, since it seems to be so much more pay to play out there. Where do you see things going?
Well, I see that it's going to be more strategic. You know, the businesses are a little more savvy now. Just ranking, just to be ranking, that game is starting to dwindle, which is good. I mean, they now are getting in front of those that are looking for what they really offer. I see that organic search is changing in a way that there are different elements. Now, this is years in the making of universal search, but there's different ways of ranking. You can rank in the all, like we'll use Google because everybody looks at Google. You can rank in maps, which is huge, especially for local businesses. I would recommend ranking in maps over ranking just organically in the regular search, only because of the search behavior when people find you in maps. And then there's images and there's video.
So let's hold on for a second. So for maps, what are some things you suggest, or kind of what's the biggest thing someone needs to do as a local business to get ranked in maps?
First of all, claim your business. Most of them don't claim their business. You're already listed, but you can't edit it and you can't control it unless you claim it. So claim your business. And then the second thing is to make sure all your content is up to date and most of it's filled out, if not all of it.
So let's stop, because I know y'all are out there, y'all like, you're going too fast for me. Claiming your business. So what does that mean for those that really aren't tech savvy, they don't see themselves as tech savvy? What does it mean? They know how to go on Google and type in a search, and most put it in the address bar. So how do they, what do they do to claim a business?
Okay, the easiest way to claim your business is go into Google, type in your business name. It'll come up. Click on the maps section. You'll see your business name, and underneath you'll see a statement say, "Is this your business?" You click that, and when you click that, it's going to give you a couple of options. One is the long option. You remember the postcards they mail out, which takes 2 weeks or more? Yes. They've gotten better though. So the second way, you can put in a phone number that's associated with your business, and they will call or text that phone number to verify. So that's
Okay.
That's it. It's just that easy.
Yeah, and I'm so glad to hear that postcard method, because it was a little confusing before. So we finally got it and made it happen, but it was confusing.
Yeah, because your assistant always tosses away. It's like, yes, I had.
I need that code. So maps was one way you mentioned,
Yes.
and then you mentioned photos and videos. Talk a
Yes.
little bit about that.
So Google Images, and if you're a visual type of company, you can leverage the images. So people that are looking and they go to the images, they'll see the different images and say, oh, it's a photographer. This is beautiful. And then the images will show you the actual site that image is on.
Okay.
So they find you that way.
Okay.
There's some strategic ways to advertise as well, but usually just straight advertisements do not work in images.
Okay.
But you can do things to add text to your image to subtly advertise.
Okay.
That's
So
one
this is
way.
all behind the scenes on your website. You're doing this. Okay.
Yes, this is all behind the scenes. It's an image associated with your website.
Okay.
So, for instance, yours, you do well with it because you have snapshots of some of your shows.
Right.
And they go to images, they see the snapshot, they're like, oh, that's interesting. They click it. Now it goes to your actual website where they can view the shows,
Right.
they can sign up, and they can subscribe and so forth. So,
Right.
so that's a very good way of doing
Okay.
it. Kudos.
Okay.
on
Thank
that.
you so much. Thank you so much. Probably worked with the master before, so always sharing ideas there on SEO. Now, back in the day, of course, we used to talk a lot about your metadata and your tags and keywords and things like that.
Yeah.
What's Google doing? Does it even care anymore about that?
And that's interesting because keywords have been a non-factor for a long time. It's good to have it just in case
Right.
it comes back, but it's not a factor. And descriptions nowadays aren't really a factor.
Okay.
But I do not tell people do not fill out a good description.
Right.
Because people will say, well, if it's not a factor, I'm not even going to fill it out.
Right.
Because what's going to happen is Google's going to take the first 2 sentences of your website, and that's going to be your description.
Right.
So for those that don't know what that looks like, when you're searching, you'll see a blue bar. That's your title. That's very important to make sure, first of all, it has the keyword, but second of all, it makes sense.
Okay.
It needs to be something that somebody will click.
So it shouldn't just be the word about us.
Yes, it should, and home.
Right.
I hate, unless you're in real estate, home.
Right.
Yes, don't do that.
Right. Okay.
Second, the description is the black 2 sentences that you see underneath the blue bar.
Okay.
Well, that describes what you should expect when you go to their website.
Okay.
Well, if you don't fill it out, it's going to take the first 2 sentences. And let's say your first 2 sentences is something that has nothing to do with your business. Well, that's what's going to be the description. So you can actually generate business without them even going to your website. So, for instance, if you are a bakery, you can say, we have a cupcake sale at our bakery, call and put your number there, or use coupon and put your coupon there. And people can actually, if you put your number there, call straight from the search results. And they don't even come to your website, but you're generating business. Please, if you get nothing else from this, don't focus so much on just ranking to rank.
Okay.
If you're not generating any business, it doesn't matter.
That's right.
You know.
All right. I hope you all heard that. I know you wrote it down because that is so
Yeah.
key. That's so key. So now, in talking about that, talking about the searching, talking about ranking, let's talk about where things are going now, because we know, like you mentioned, local search is important, so really honing in on that. But also, let's talk about where things are going with mobile and where it's going with voice.
Oh, wow. Local search is definitely going toward mobile. Most people now search from their phone, tablet. And now with all these, it's interesting because the data kind of is skewed. They say, well, a lot of people are mobile, but a lot of these desktops now aren't desktops anymore. They're more tablet / laptops. So with that, they fall into a mobile bucket. But with local businesses, knowing that they're searching on their mobile phone, and I encourage everybody, test what I say. Pull out your phone, search for something that you're looking to do, like a restaurant or somewhere to go. On your mobile phone, Maps always comes up first.
Okay.
So since Maps comes up first, that's why I say it's more important to rank in Maps than organic.
Wow.
And most people will just find in Maps and they'll click call or they'll click directions.
Right.
And so if you're not ranking in maps, you might be number one in the organic listing, but they'll have to scroll through all the map search results first to even find you on a mobile phone.
Wow.
So technically, you're like ranked number 5.
Wow, now, wasn't that worth the price of admission? I'll tell you, that was some good information there. Now, also, we know we've got all these fantastic devices, so voice search is another thing. How do businesses take advantage of voice search? Because we've got Siri and Alexa and all these Google and all these other platforms. So how do they rank there?
See, the interesting thing about that is Google now and even Facebook, they take and also Alexa. There's so many of them now. So they actually listen to your voice always. Your phones are always listening. You might not know it, but your phones are always listening. And we can get into marketing automation. I love the way that works. But with that, if your website fits what somebody's talking about, you have a better chance of showing up for that result.
Okay.
Also, if you have your ecosystem, your marketing ecosystem set up right, now you'll start to be able to advertise to people based on their search results.
Okay.
How many times have you talked to somebody about something and all of a sudden when you got online, that product now is popping up on websites or it's popping up on your mobile app in your advertisement on some of these apps?
Right, yeah.
Well, the reason is because they've been listening to what you've been saying. And it's amazing.
See, we already knew they were following us because of the cookies and all of that, so the AdWords and whatnot, and we'd see it online. Yeah. But now it's even listening to us.
It's listening.
Big Brother is here. We've been saying this for years.
Exactly.
Right? It's here. I mean, we let it in and we allowed it. So
it was funny. I was talking about my cousin. She is a influencer in the makeup space, and I was telling Ron about her, and I said, well, Essence Hunter. And all of a sudden, his Siri, which he didn't have in his hand, he had his iPhone on the table, said, I cannot find Essence. So the phone was listening the whole time.
Listening. Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the only way it can work is to be constantly listening if you're going to say hey Siri, right? So marketing automation, because I know that's your wheelhouse. So I want to close with that and just tell everyone, share a little bit about what marketing automation really is, what it's all about.
Well, marketing automation basically takes data, like you talk about voice, and it takes your search patterns and your behaviors. It takes that, and then it tries to find the best results to provide you in different platforms, whether it's social or it's on your phone or it's on your search results. So it does that. So that is what the goal is for marketing automation. Businesses use it to automate the messages that they have going out. So basically, if you are interested in this, I am sending you an email based on your search behavior, or I'm sending you a social post based on that. And if you come to my website, those that do that, I send a certain message. Those that do not come to my website, I send them something else. So it automates your whole marketing process based on the behavior of the visitor or the user.
Right. And it's really more about customization today, and this is why I want to close with this, because I know for some of you out there, we started talking gibberish a long time ago in this episode, and you feel like you're not savvy enough, but you are. Always tell everyone you didn't used to know how to drive a car, but now you do. But we don't want you to just go this alone. This is not really a world for do-it-yourself. You really want to have the experts and work with the experts, and that's why Jeff is here to work with you in that particular space. What are some of the challenges that you see businesses who are do-it-yourselfers, the challenges they have when they're trying to do marketing automation on their own?
There's 3 things. One, they don't know their audience. Most of them do not really know who their audience is down to a science. So they try to market to everybody, and everybody knows you market to everybody, you market to nobody.
Right.
The second thing, they don't listen to their audience. So after they found their audience, they don't listen. So they don't know what their audience really wants. They know what they want to sell.
Okay.
And so with listening, that'll help you with your marketing automation, because you'll know the touch points and you'll know the frequency of how often to send it to them and so forth, and what to send to them.
Right. Okay.
And then the third point would be the fact that they don't develop a strategy before they actually execute.
Okay.
They just they build a strategy based on blogs and information that they find out about the platform.
Okay.
So they say Facebook is doing this. Facebook said I should post once a day.
Right.
and they post once a day. So they don't develop their own strategy based on their buyers' behavior. They base it on an industry stat that is being pulled from, a select group. It might not be your group.
Okay. So now, Jeff, I know you're speaker, trainer, coach. How do you work with businesses to help them truly be effective and win in this marketing automation and just marketing game itself?
Well, I mean, the way I like to work with a company is I like to help them find who their audience would be, what the audience wants, how they benefit them, and then how to approach it.
Okay.
So, it's all about the strategy, and that's what I really work with them on. I mean, yes, I can help you with implementation, but what happens when I'm not around? I want you to learn how to do it yourself. How not technically do it yourself. It does take a team, but you know what to do. So when you do have a team, you know if they're doing it right or not. So that's how I really work with companies, whether it's an hour consultation or a full-fledged strategy. I like to start there.
Great. Well, Jeff, we know we could go on and on and on with this one. We thank you for coming back and joining us again, sharing some of the new things that are going on, just what the trends are right now, and just about digital automation. We thank you for joining us.
Oh, I thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity again.
Absolutely. And of course, tell everyone how they can get in touch with you.
Well, they can reach me at my website, mrmarketology.com, MrMarketology.com, and on my social, it would be Mr. Marketology on all the platforms.
That's what we talk about, right? That's how you market. You got to be consistent and process, right?
Yes.
I love it. Everyone, you can watch this episode again at www.bizlinks.tv. Don't forget, share this with other businesses, your collaborators, share it with those that you're networking with. This is a wealth of information. You want to make sure you let them know about Jeff and Mr. Marketology. So bizlinks.tv is where you can find us. Don't forget your favorite platforms, whether that's Roku, you want to kick back and watch at home, you can do that, watching on your TV or on Apple Podcasts or on your Androids. We haven't forgotten about you all. And then, of course, on social media, we're consistent as well. You can find us at BizLinks TV. I'm Pamela Alexander, exposing your business to the world.